Thank you, my American friends, for not making fun of my A's anymore. You must be so used to it now. I
And
love you.
that's a lovely way to start the session. Hi, everyone.
So,
And welcome back to another session of Riffs, where we do not make fun of Inferno's A's. I don't think I've ever really noticed yours. Honestly, yours are not that bad. I've
yeah.
seen some strong Canadian accents before, my friend, and
Oh, yeah, don't you know?
yeah.
Go get it.
Oh yeah.
So, as always, we like to show off the beautiful, beautiful art that people have made during the course of our sessions, and there are some really great ones this week. This is the first three, I think, are from Allure. She just banged three out during the session. This one's right
Boom.
after Al woke up from his dream, and he was staring at his hand that he expected to be bionic for a second. This is Tom playing with Hannibal because James T was dead.
Hey, that guy was a dick.
I know he was, but it's so
Just
funny.
how you worded it.
Yeah, celebrate.
I'm gonna play with Hannibal for the first time in a very long time because James T is dead and not a menace. Ha ha!
God, it feels good.
This is Tom
Yeah.
carrying Mariah / Mila / Nora after she was breaking all the dishes and her feet were and the first one to successfully not drop her.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, because I
History-
actually care.
History was made,
Oh, bazinga.
Boom.
and then
Fight for her affection.
this is from some person. I don't know, Criana. Or...
Wow, Squee. There you go.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
this is from
Wait.
Criana. This is Mariah.
What?
Huh?
For me? What did I draw? I don't even remember what I drew.
It's,
Mariah, what are you
Oh,
laughing?
that's right.
It's Mariah shooing someone away.
You drew your own character.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
And this is from someone relatively new to Riftyfell. This is from June, and a sneak peek, basically, of what she's working on. We've got Tom, we've got Mila and Jackie, and we've got Pam, and it's phenomenal work.
They all look so good.
Mhm. They all look
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, that is what we have for you this week.
You bet. So we're starting our session, not that it matters for those of you who are watching the recording, but we're starting a little bit late because everyone has gone through their shopping list and everyone's figured out what they're going to want to buy during our time at Parents Post. So it's fair to say that what you guys have is pretty much nailed down. I'm going to let you know as a GM to players too that next week and the week after, if you realize that you forgot something or you felt rushed, we can retroactively purchase something as long as there isn't an immediate need, and we're good. So then we'll go to the role play portions of stuff within Parents Post, because while you're out shopping, doing some other things, getting supplies, there of course are role play opportunities. I have one with an NPC, Lee. That's for sure. He's going to want to have a conversation with as much of the group as possible. So would you guys like to do that first, or would you like to do the stuff that you guys have ideas about? Of course, I have another one, too, for Tom. He's going to be purchasing a special weapon, which I'll introduce to. But is it okay if I start things off? Are you guys comfortable with that?
Yeah, I
it.
am.
Okay, all right. So in regards to Lee, obviously he's only been free from that horrible influence of that strange black parasite for a few days, and over those few days he has been he hasn't been himself, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. He's been very quiet, very reflective, very passive, just watching things like a careful individual who's too afraid to make social faux pas, right? You haven't smelled the familiar smell of alcohol on his breath or around him, and although he doesn't look morose, he does seem like he's been distracted as of late. And in addition to your current revelations of Parents Post and everything like that, while you guys are making preparations at any time, he would ask that while you guys made preparations that no one purchase any alcohol and if there was any of that on the behemoth still, that it might be wise to get rid of it. As for an explanation, he'll just say that he doesn't trust himself around it, and he doesn't want to fuck things up again.
All right.
All right.
So it's up to you now. I'll leave it up to your characters in as to what you do. However, there's one thing about as far as his request goes, and that is, Al, some of your medical supplies, in specific the stuff used to sterilize, is alcoholic based. So it is up to you what you want to do in light of that information.
I will get rid of it, and if I need things sterilized, I will ask our resident burster to do it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So there'll be no big penalties as to, because you are buying supplies to replace what James T smashed. But you're right. If we come to sterilization, you'll just have to take other means, and we'll jump that hurdle when it comes along. But really, it's not going to affect your day to day. So. Yeah.
I would ask Lee if he, and I try to be as non-invasive about it, but if there is anything he wanted me to look for that might help take his mind off it, maybe something that might help with withdrawal symptoms or just snacks, anything, medical or otherwise.
He would sigh a little bit and kind of look off to the side. And he says, I don't know. I've never even tried doing this before. Sometimes when I'm jonesing for a drink, I have a smoke instead. So I don't know. I'll pick up some cigarettes in town or something like that. We'll see if that works.
Out of
He,
character-
he's. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, out of character, I wanted to ask because I'm pretty sure on this, but I wanted to see if anyone else was sure on it too. I believe very mild forms of tranquilizers can sometimes help, like, ease cravings and things like that. Am I right on this? Because Al would know, but I sure don't.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not a doctor. I'm merely the Lord of Riffs. It seems feasible. It seems like it would help certain symptoms. In my thoughts, I'm thinking it would help with, say, insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
It might help with people who don't want to eat, right? But there's no cure for addictive behavior.
Right.
Mild tranquilizer or not, it might help some very specific symptoms, but you'll have to see if Lee even gets those symptoms.
Okay, so why don't I do this when I'm buying those supplies? We get a little bit or not. Why don't I pick some of those up just to have in case he shows them, and then I can ask them if he would want them. That kind of thing. I can do that more subtle in the background. That way,
Sure.
it's not like it's bad to have them anyway. So
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay. Sorry that I kind of spoke generally, and then I used a little bit of voice for Lee. But during his request, if you guys have any questions or want to, follow up with anything with him, we're free to do that. If you don't, if you want to just acknowledge his request, we can just continue on.
I do have one simple thing for clarification.
Mhm.
Is that I know that there are certain types of alcohol that would be used for cleaning or sterilization that are poisonous to drink. Now, is it we don't want anything of the kind because who knows, he just doesn't trust himself, or those would be okay?
I'll answer it with an in context thing.
Okay.
That maybe your character would know, but this is a general knowledge thing rather than Lee explicitly saying it, right? Or me telling you what you know. Imagine I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do a comparison, right? So imagine you're addicted to sugar, as silly as that kind of seems, right?
Right.
And you get rid of all the white sugar in your house, and you get rid of all the really high sweet stuff, right? But you're addicted. You really, really want some fucking sugar, right? and you look in your cabinets, you look through everything, and you come across a substance called Clorox, but you don't know what Clorox is, but it says it has a high fructose ingredient in it, right? And fructose is kind of like fruit sugar, right? Like, oh, great. And you not knowing what it is, drink it because you really want that sugar,
Got it.
and it kills you.
Yeah, I'm on board. All right, yeah. So I would get rid of absolutely every kind of anything that has any sort of alcohol or ethanol in it.
Okay.
I will do the same, including if the oil paints that I have, were.
The paints, the oil paints, I don't think would. I think you're good on that.
But I will just make the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not going to be easy. As long as you are here, we are here for you. Okay?
He just gives a weak nod. Not, no, not a weak nod, not because he's tired or he's hurt. A weak nod in the sense that he's embarrassed. So, with that, if nothing else, we can continue on. Mm-hmm.
No, I think this.
No,
Would be a
no,
good
we're not
time
done
also
yet.
Say, yeah,
Okay.
Al would say, do you want to take a break from the magic lessons for a while, or?
You know, he shakes he shakes his head and he says, no. You hired me for a particular job, and that's how I can make it up to you. So, and besides, it will maybe it'll distract me from things, you know.
All right. Is if you're still good with the same agreement we worked out?
Yeah. What was it? It was
I don't remember.
15. No, I'm saying in character.
Oh, okay.
It was we decorated between 1,500 credits a week and 2,000 credits a week. What do you want to pay me?
I honestly think, and of course it would be up to the rest of the group as well, but I think the 2,000 is still on the table, especially if nothing else, given how dangerous it can be around us.
Yeah, he says. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'll take 2,000 a week.
Okay. Out of character, guys. I know I just did that in character. Any objections?
No? No objections from me?
No objections out of character, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. All right. Everyone good with Lee? Anything else?
I do want to make sure I take a very specific action, but it's not going to be in front of Lee.
Okay. So around that time, what would you do? That Lee when Lee wouldn't see.
I would probably have to be like away, like
Okay.
in forest or something like that.
Sure. Or at least there are definitely wildernessy areas outside of Parents Post that you can travel to.
All right, generally in a concealed area.
Okay.
Of course, I wouldn't go without a buddy system.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go into the bag dimension
Mm-hmm.
and put away the bag dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Put away the orb in there.
Okay. All right. Done and done.
All right.
All right. Good to know.
Oh yeah. The wine thing.
So, oh Jesus, yeah, I just realized that.
Same here.
If
yeah.
Lee ever fucked around, oh
Oh,
no.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why
yeah.
it's going in the bag dimension.
That's why it's going in the bag.
That is why he also doesn't know that it's going in the bag dimension.
Good call. Good call.
Mhm.
All right, so I only have one other thing that I need to mention. So, in the Platinum Touch, when you guys are doing your shopping, Tom, you would probably come across first this strange weapon that looks like it was if a rifle and a laser rifle had a baby and it kind of merged together. And that itself has a bit of an interesting story. apparently, give me a moment as I the salesperson explains to you that the rifle is actually owned by, or was owned by, a guy named Odell Notley that everyone here around calls Spotless. He's a hunter. He's been around here. He's been dogging around here for about 3 or 4 years. The problem is that he's not really good with saving money, and his bar tab over at the Bee and Bonnet got pretty high. And Perrin finally decided that instead of keeping on, it was time for him to pay up, practically, right? And the only thing that was any of great worth was this weapon that he kind of customized, and he goes over the features of the laser rifle and has you try it on and everything like that. And he says, I can let you have it for 30,000 credits if you want. It was sold to us legally, of course, and he's still kicking around, but he's just using his different weapon, just not this little thing. He calls it old one shot, but I guess you can call it whatever you want.
I'll take it.
Excellent. And he rings you up. So, for those of you who weren't in the know, it's a combination of an L20 laser rifle, pulse laser rifle, but with another barrel underneath, so it can fire single shot 30-06 hunting rounds. It was very useful for this hunter because he never really knew what was going around the corner, right? Whether it was a prize buck or like a demon. So he was a pretty nervous guy, and that's why I made the rifle, and now Tom has it.
Yeah.
Fair and square. Now, I do know that before we get into much else, during the shopping, Patrick, you mentioned that you wanted to get Jackie checked out, right?
Yes.
We already dealt with the cost of repairing not only her armor, but more specifically replacing her synthetic skin with some dried squirrel hide to cover up that little slit that was cut when Joan the Keen cut Jackie after the assassination of Prince Jasper. But that's not what you're worried about. You're more worried about the internals. So where would you go? What would you do?
First, I would bring Jackie to good friend, the Techno Wizard.
Yeah, Zacharias Gilson. Yeah, okay. He'd welcome you in warmly and take a look at the little furry squirrel. And he says, at first I thought that was your pet, but there is no magic energy radiating off of her. That must mean she is not living. And since I don't think you're the type to animate an animal, I reckon she might be robotic.
She is robotic.
All right.
So, a few days ago,
Yeah?
she seemed to you know what? Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
So, in my travels, I've met some very interesting fellows, one of them being a giant brain.
All right. Sorry. I could have sworn you said a giant brain, but that, well, yeah, by the look of your face, you meant giant brain. All right. And what does giant brain do?
During our disagreement and
All
eventual conflict,
Mm-hmm.
Jackie here seemed to have been possessed, or at least acting under his whim.
All right. And Zacharias, his smile fades a little bit as he gets a more serious, like, analyzing look on his face. Continue.
Mm-hmm. And during that time, her eyes glowed blue.
All right.
That conflict ended with the brain's demise.
Mm-hmm.
But just a couple of days ago, the same blue shine in her eyes, or at least that's what I thought, was up in the trees.
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure that there is little that there is no remnants of a possession in this.
All right. Well, if you want to know if this thing used any sort of, it's a giant brain, you told me, so maybe it had some sort of psionic power. All right. It tried. Do you think it tried to mess with her internal workings using its mind?
Uh, that could definitely happen.
All right. Well, tell you what, this isn't really my area of expertise. It's more me, meddling around with technology. Not really in this quite, but tell you what, I did come across a few detection spells that an old mystic used to that taught me in exchange for some of my gadgetry. I can at least, give me a little while here and grease my palm with, say, I don't know, fine fella. I'll just do cost of materials plus just a tiny bit. I'd say about 500 credits or so. Give me 500 credits and I'll run the gamut, see if there's anything else still messing with her, from a supernatural standpoint or, mystical way.
I
Sound fair to you?
Yes.
All
I
right. Mhm.
will give you a brief warning that she does do a flashbang, and she does seem to use her claws if any sort of mishap happens.
I see. Well, he goes to fetch a very, very, very dark tinted set of goggles on his head and goes, well, as she starts clawing around, I have to have you hold the little fur ball off. Okay, just sit her down here at the table. Give me a moment while I just prepare. And with that, there isn't much pomp and there's not a lot of theatrics in regards to this. He casts very practical magic. First, he takes just some salt and he puts a circle around where she is, and he has some recites some low mystic words underneath his breath, and the salt itself glows a bright yellow glow for a moment, and then it dies down. And he shakes his head. All right. And then he goes over and he takes an old, it looks like a switch, a branch from a yew tree, and he touches her on the nose, on the head, and on her rump. And he mumbles a few more incantations, and he looks to the branch and he closes his eyes. He puts the little branch away. He comes back to you and says, hopefully this will rest your mind. I didn't detect the darn thing. She is as mystically speaking as possible. Like I said, I am a little rusty. This isn't really my purview, right? But magic is magic. Detection is detection. And I do not see no hide nor hair of anything from the other side of the veil interfering with your little robotic girl. Have you ever considered that might be more a mechanical problem?
I have. Um, I will definitely. After this, I didn't want mechanics uh, dealing with magical things.
Ah, I see. Clever, clever. Start with the better specialist first, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Well, if you want to purchase anything else, and of course, probably maybe at this time you'd probably buy some of his magic ammunition or that sort of thing. And,
Yes, and would probably um, tell him about the times that he used them in various ways.
hmm, interesting.
The
Mhm.
instanet for the golem, along with hot lead.
A golem, he asks, rather
Uh,
curious. Tell me more about that.
um, it seems to be a fully. It's almost like a giant piece of armor with
Mhm.
a artifact inside that allows it to.
Oh, yeah. I know in general what a golem is, but what led you up to fighting a golem?
Oh, it was a very odd string of. Uh, I'm not even sure how to call it, but
I just realized maybe it'd be more better context. We still have this conversation as Zacharias and Patrick, but maybe while they're having a beer
sure.
or dinner. Oh, but please continue. I'm just changing the setting in my mind.
Okay, so we're in the bar
The bee
at
and bonnet, yeah.
either what do you say, table or
Oh, table.
table. Okay.
Yeah, not the bar.
Okay. Waiting for his meal, he will regale him with the story. So tell him about Golem.
Mhm.
How we got there? Well, a lot of different clues and different. I'm not even sure how to call these. It's there was a map and
Really?
yeah, there
Hmm.
was a. I think it was like done through lane line distance.
Oh, yeah. The units. Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
And got to a underground looked like a temple.
Really? His interest peaks considerably.
Yes, and I'm not quite sure. I may have not taken pictures.
Probably. I don't know. I don't think he. Oh, you did take pictures of the walls and shit.
Yeah, I think the one room with the
Yeah, all
big,
those designs and everything. Yeah.
I'll probably show him that.
And he looks on with quite a bit of interests. In fact, he's willing to pay you 10 credits per image if you want to give him a copy.
Sure.
Okay. So let's say you have about 10 images, so you make 100 credits.
Sweet. I'll actually put that in my personal pocket.
Might as well.
How much does Patrick have in his personal pocket? It's probably really flipping low. Yeah, it is. He's just doubled his money. Okay. So he will probably talk about the zombies in there if he seems to still be interested.
No, he is eating out of the palm of your hand.
Oh, fantastic. And we'll probably talk about like the interesting part of the zombies is they only seem to act when their head's on, and how thoroughly he's tested this.
Unlike maybe some others who would be distasteful at that, Zacharias doesn't seem too all that upset.
Fantastic.
We can end the conversation. Well, not end the conversation, but if you have more descriptions to tell him, go ahead.
So, Patrick is actually going to kind of look at him for a sec, and then going to wave him the secret hand sign, and then pass it off as a stretch afterwards.
He gives a smile and gives you the hand sign back.
Sweet.
I can just imagine Patrick being like, "Sweet." He goes, "I had no idea you were a member."
Yes. Apparently, this trip has also gained the attention of others.
I see. Well, keep it secret. Keep it safe.
And
you want to do an exchange of information? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to ask. I'm a little new at this, so I'm not entirely sure how.
He says we pretty much just do what we do right now. It's quite simple, pretty casual for the most part. Typically between two members, at least. Between us and particular guild masters or that sort of thing, more official basis, something really dire, more of a formal. But our success is that we mostly just pass these off as stories, right? So if anyone's listening to us right now, we're just two friends having a sound a few tales, right? So yeah, we just tell each other details as much as we can, and we just pass it on as others come on through. My fellow adventurer. I myself, of course, I run the shop as often as I can, but I mostly like to go out there in my wild world. I sell a few things here and there, but I've been mostly doing my focuses on the Detroit area. And whew, I have reckoned there is all sorts of stuff just tangled under there. And because of the great influence of the tears of fabric of space and time, I have a feeling some of those little monsters that come on out drop some goodies. The problem is, though, it's still far, far too hot. New Laszlo's doing their best, but I only am able to peek in from time to time. I'm trying to find a safer way to at least scour the perimeter of the town, maybe going from a different direction than these demons tend to travel, but I've been trying to keep track of the migratory patterns of some of the really larger threats, and I haven't had too much luck, so that's still research under process, I guess you could say.
I'd love to hear what you found thus far.
Okay. DM is not going to spend an hour doing this, but we'll say that your conversation with Zacharias will improve the depth of your monster and fairy lore.
No.
Sorry, monster lore. In fact, I'm going to give you a plus 2% bonus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As he spends the evening telling you about these, the common demons that he sees come out of the Detroit rifts, the migratory patterns, that type of thing. Not all knowledge, of course, is just of secret places. Sometimes it's of secret things or secret beings. And of course, he too wants as much information as what you've come across, which I'll leave up to you what you leave in and leave out. But
I will note most things that have been magical or mystic based.
Okay.
And will definitely note that he has an item of interest and still unsure exactly how he should like it seems to be important, but I don't know how.
Oh. What is it?
Looks to be an orb. Shoot, did I take a picture of that? Probably not actually. And you'll probably describe it blue, kind of scaled. Looks like.
Yeah.
It seems to have a lot to do with water magic.
All right. Could be an old warlock tool, I suppose. Those elementals really like that sort of thing. But to be honest with you, Patrick, it could be 1,000 different things. Orbs are a very common shape for items of magic.
Well,
it's not only symbolic, but the power is held within the orb, much like a yolk is held within an egg.
I could show you physically if you have some time.
Although, didn't you that day?
Yes, I couldn't do today. No.
Yeah, and then when are you guys gonna leave?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. So you'll make. So if there's enough time, you can show him. Yeah. Sure. And we'll cross that river when that happens. Then. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to ask Zach?
It doesn't seem like it. I think we had a probably full, hearty conversation with the.
You most certainly did. You would have spent several hours only stopping when you really wanted to with him. Filling your brain with not only this knowledge but sharing tales back and forth. Yeah. I don't know. Very, very eventful. And you didn't even have to pay the tab. He bought you beer.
Oh,
too. Or whatever you were drinking. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, of course.
It's mostly going to be food based.
Okay, that's fine. You can eat till you're stuffed. All right, so we'll wind things down with that, if that's okay by you.
Yes.
All right, my dear players, what else do you guys want to do when parents post? Of course, you guys are probably still very refreshed on the warning that Dan gave you. But before we go and delve into that, how about we just do the shopping interactions, right? Get that done and over with. With any sort of store keep or other NPC that involves in buying and selling, right? Is there anything specific that you guys want to role play in regards to that, or are you guys good as far as the shopping side goes?
Well, there might be something you have to roleplay. We do want to bring the those 2 magic items to Zacharias and see if he can tell us anything about them, or possibly recharge them.
Okay, all right. Good point. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about that. Let's go with... all right, I'll do this in character. So, he takes a while to examine them, of course, right? Mm-hmm. And he charges you 50 credits for an examination, all right? And he comes back and goes, well, I got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear?
Well, let's start with the bad news.
All right, I have no idea what that little silver thing does. Not a clue.
Oh,
It radiates some sort of permanent magic energy, but its implementation, the script on it, I'm not too sure. The closest thing I got is that it is always quote unquote on. What exactly it does or what it's supposed to do, I don't have the foggiest. Wherever you found that, I hope you don't mind. I took like a bunch of pictures and some notes. Is that all right?
I don't mind at all. So, all right, would you say that this isn't something that would need to be recharged? It's permanent?
He shrugs.
Oh. Fair enough.
I don't know.
And I'll take the necklace back and stare at it for a bit and then put it, in a pouch.
Okay. Now, good news, he says, is that I am able to get a much better idea of these sets of bracers here that you got, all right? Specifically because it seems to be using that little pearl there as its activation source. What do you want to know about it? He asks.
Well, we already pretty much know what it does and how much punishment it can take, but we don't have any idea how often you can use it and who would have the ability to recharge it.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll let you know what I know for about 1,000 credits, and I can really get real specific if you activate it in front of me. Then I think I might be able to quantify exactly how many uses you might got. I have to make an observation of the pearl, you understand.
Sure. Or would it help if you actually wore them, or?
Nah. I just need to see them.
All right. Then I guess Al would slip them on and press the pearl.
Wonderful. I press the pearl, and with him looking at it attentively and assuming those characters who witnessed do the same thing, you do see the pearl itself. It was already just a small off yellow, start to deepen and get just a little bit more gray. Just a tiny bit. Very, very slight, but it is noticeable. He goes, yeah, that's what I consider. Draws it straight from the color source. All right, well, more good news for you. This is relatively easily replaceable. All you really need yourself is another pearl and an individual who is magically inclined, who knows how to properly balance a replacement pearl with the mystic energies that is radiated here by this by these bracers. Now, as a fellow of in my particular field, gems and jewels are extremely valuable, and I do have a few pearls kicking around. I can tell you right now that thing still has about 14 or so. I'm guessing around 14 to 16, but I'm willing to bet closer to 14. More little charges of that little thing. More 14 more times, you can make that incantation and it still works. Now, if I put in a fresh pearl, that thing looks like it's about half its gusto. A nice big sparkly pearl will give you 30,000. Sorry, 30,000. That's ridiculous. 30 charges, but it would cost you, Freudian slip, 30,000 credits. I'll take universal trade credits or something in exchange to do that procedure for you.
Okay, and do you know, is there any sort of time limit? Can you just activate it immediately after it stops or goes down?
Oh, as my old instructor once said, magic knows no time, it creates time. Yeah, no, that thing ain't going to give up the ghost anytime soon.
Interesting. Okay. Out of character, does anyone have problems with buying an extra pearl?
Not at all.
Now it's not the. Now he'll have to install the pearl on that.
Right.
You know, that's what the payment is. So you don't get 14 plus 30. You get 14 or you get 30.
And I'm fine with the 30 if you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, knock her off. And now you know exactly how many charges it has. So now you can keep track of it.
And
Yeah.
would he have a use for the other pearl, or?
There's always a use. He'll take it.
All right. Okay. There we go. That is better than I was hoping for. So.
There you go. Small blessings. All right. Anything else you guys would like to do in the post? I'm sure there's quite a few things. But yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I have the picking up the robots and going to try to get the robot sort of thing, and also specifically to finish up the Jackie thing.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, let's finish. Well, the robots are we talked about it out of character. For those of you who don't know, he's going to be buying a fixer-upper, light labor robotic unit manufactured by the Northern Gun and sold here at Parents Post. It's going to be a bit of a fixer-upper, but he's able to get a digital version of a manual to help guide him in some internal electrical repairs. As for the Jackie thing, yeah, let's wrap that up. Good idea. So, what do you want to do next with Jackie?
Probably, it's either no. I'm gonna go to a professional about this. He's probably gonna go back to where we bought Jackie.
The Cyberworks tent, which is now still there with an extension, but of course nearby are quite a few logs. You're actually a little bit of construction by a few laborers hammering away. It looks like it's creating a north wall with some timber. It rings in the background as you have a conversation with a woman that might seem somewhat familiar to you, if your memory goes that far back. Does she recognize you guys? Yeah, she recognizes you.
I was going to say that I specifically would not go, and I might try to keep Mariah from going as well. Because I would think that if that one employee was there that threw us out last time, might be best if Patrick doesn't have us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mariah hasn't been going to any of these.
Yeah, she's not interested.
So Al
Mariah
would
don't
make
give
sure
a
to
shit.
excuse himself.
All right, no problem. But she still knows of you. She knows the unit.
Right.
Let's just say, her name's Sadie Zimmerman, 50-year-old human woman, piercing eyes, no bullshit attitude. All right, tightly slicked back, dark hair too. But she gives a polite, wiry smile. Just hello, sir. Welcome back to Cyberworks. How may we assist you today? I apologize for the noise. We're putting down roots, I guess you could say, here on Parents Post. Although not inside, which apparently is a first. Who'd have thought?
Oh. And he looks despairingly down at Jackie. I seem to have gotten into a bit of a mishap, and I wanted to make sure that nothing was particularly an awry in her systems.
All right. If it's my understanding, you're concerned about the performance of the robotic unit that you purchased?
I'm concerned that the insides may have been messed with.
Ah, I see. Did you do any sort of modifications yourself?
It seems, no.
Okay.
Besides the fur, and he's going to kind of uh, tip Jackie and kind of finger the the fur around.
Mm. She nods and she says, "Oh, all right. Well, um, uh, she says, well, let me just pull up your file here, sir." And she looks there and she goes, Emmanuel, he didn't include any sort of warranty or servicing on this, but that's all right. I'll tell you what, if you're worried about her internal fundamentals, the integrity of her internals, we can run a diagnostic. Quite simply, it would merely cost you. She looks at you carefully, looks at the squirrel. An amiable 10,000 credits, and we'll do a top-down uh, systems check. Would that be something you'd be interested in, sir?
Um, without too much of a flicker about how much money there is, but
Mm-hmm.
still looks particularly worried about the thing that he's holding, he will go, uh, yes, I think that would be best.
Wonderful. So after the money's transferred, she takes you over to the new tent itself, in which there are a few more desks. These ones look a little bit more professional, but she soon gets a new face you recognize. It's a young woman. She looks like she's maybe about 18, 19, 20 or so. Um, she has very, very dark hair cut down to her ears. A very mousy looking woman, small nose, round ears. Pleasant, but pretty much shy. She seems very, very captivated by her own work. You see Sadie Zimmerman go over to her, explain what she wants, and soon enough, this woman wires up Jackie through a communications port just found underneath the flap of that synthetic fur by her ear. And she wires her up to do a full diagnostic. You're able to see on the screen yourself, going through various subroutines, checking her programming, checking her artificial intelligence, checking the motor systems, right? Memory banks, the whole shebang. And every single one checks up green, okay, green, okay, green, okay. And finally, the very last, which is secondary systems, it shows green, okay. And Sadie, after Jackie is unwired from the diagnostic device, um, Sadie returns the robotic unit back to you, and she says, well, sir, by our report here, it shows that there is absolutely nothing wrong with your unit. Seems to be operating in tip-top shape. What sort of glitches were you encountering?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened, but it seems like there was, and Patrick will pause, some tampering through a. He stops, licks the, kind of just like he's thinking there's a screw it. So he's thinking for a bit, and he
Uh-huh.
shakes his head. There was a creature that seemed to have taken possession of her.
I see. Well, I don't know anything about that, sir. All I really can tell you is that it doesn't seem like there's any lasting internal damage. She's nearly as good as when you purchased her. We at Cyberworks, you understand, are the premier in robotics technology, and we take pride in our craftsmanship. It is bar above none, frankly. And I'm glad to see that she returned from the experience just fine, and that we continue to exemplify superior craftsmanship. She gives you a saleswoman's smile.
Patrick will look a little distant at that, and he will then snap back, and he will look at her directly, like as a person, and say thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. Thank you very much for coming in. And remember to tell your friends about us.
I will. And we'll take Jackie back out.
Good stuff. Alrighty. So, what else you guys want to do, or even talk about within yourselves? Meditate, please. Everyone, just meditate. Ask yourselves. Reflect on what you want to do next. No, open forum, guys. If you want me to refresh you with any sort of information, feel free to ask. But now I think we got the shopping nitty-gritty out of the way. Now I think it's time for some bigger decisions, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. While you guys get the ball rolling, I'm going to grab a drink. No chocolate for you.
No, but my
no
decision...
chocolate.
Oh, fine,
No.
vanilla. That's the bigger decision. Actually, while he's doing that, I can lay forth the plan Bernard and I were working on. Piff, I believe you're aware of it, but Criana, I don't think we've had a chance to tell you. So here's our thoughts. Obviously, we just told the Coalition that Al and Tom are in new bodies.
Yep.
We might have a way to fix that, or at least lessen the impact of it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that we go back to Perrin and accept the job. Hopefully, maybe take Pam with us and have her mentally just say, we're aware, we're sorry, just play along. And then we ask him to go talk to him into his room so that we're sure we're being recorded. And then while Al and Tom are in the room and make sure it's clear that they're in the room, Alicia, with the voice changer, contacts Perrin on a radio using Al's old voice and says, "I'm sorry for the deception, but we can never be too careful. I've hired these two actors because we're trying to make the Coalition believe this is them. We're them. And we will take your offer to go to the east, and we'll help recover the dragon bones, but we have no intention of coming back, and we hope you understand. And then we're going to turn south afterwards, because we're headed west."
Yep.
So the idea is that we make sure it's clear that Al and Tom are in that room, but all of a sudden, Al, quote unquote, calls him on the radio we give him. So in our thoughts, if you're a Coalition, what's much more likely? That they really did magically transfer bodies, or that they're trying to pull one over? So we're going to give that a try, assuming we can convince Alicia to do it.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Alicia's fine with the idea. Oh, sorry. Oh, no. You're not actually doing it. You're talking amongst yourselves, Inferno, you dummy. All right. Sorry, go on.
There is also one small part of the plan that we forgot to mention. Either getting Mariah's help slightly or Pam's help slightly.
No, I said that.
You did?
Yeah.
Yep.
Saying that we understand and that he should play along?
That's what I started with, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. I just derped.
like the actual message, that if we can actually ask Pam, like, what message, I think it should be something along the lines, we got your message, we're sorry that we put you into this kind of trouble, please play along and we will do everything we can to keep you from any harm or any further involvement.
Yeah.
You don't trust Mariah to do it?
We're just not sure Mariah would care enough to do it. But if she's willing to, we absolutely.
She's on mood stabilizers.
Yeah,
on drugs.
Like, let me put it this way: it's not that we don't trust her. We absolutely trust her. We just weren't sure if she would want to. But if
Probably
she's
should just
willing,
ask.
absolutely. Yes, that is true. This was just
But if
concept planning.
If you're afraid to ask, I understand. You can just go with Pam.
No. We're not afraid to ask. I think
That
what it
sounds,
was.
talking of-
sounds like
Mariah's hardcore.
No, I think what
Right,
happened
hardcore.
was last session we mentioned that, and you were like, you've got to convince her, and we're like, or we could go with Pam.
No, I think I said the same thing last week that you had to ask her.
Yeah.
Just have to ask, and you guys.
Yeah, I think
So-
you put that in your head.
I would actually much rather ask Mariah, because I that would, one of the players would be distributing the message.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of
I'm
the
partial
GM
to
giving
that, too.
himself messages. Yeah. Is everyone on board with that plan?
If you're asking this in
Out of
game or
character.
out of character,
Is there, well, let me ask this way: is there a difference? Like, is one good and one no?
I'm
I
fine.
would. If you asked Patrick, he would ask you when this will happen.
Well, we should decide that. I know we can't stay for too long. A few days, I believe, and they said they're coming in for us, or he's supposed to turn us over. So, if we assume maybe shopping takes a day at least, then maybe another day at most, and then we should probably...
Okay, so 2 days. So now we can do the orb thing, but we'll worry about that later, Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 days. So you plan on being in Parents Post for 2 days. Okay, that's important to know. So shopping day 1, talking to Parent day 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We gotta pack everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Make sure
All right.
everything's tied down and all that.
Let me know when you guys want to get the scene rolling, and we'll start doing this sucker.
All right, Alicia's doesn't take any special convincing. Or anything?
At least it doesn't. Well, actually, let's go with that first. Alicia doesn't have a problem with it, but she confesses that the reason why she joined the Endless Storytellers as a guard was because she wasn't good on stage. She says, "You write down what you want me to say, and I'll say it." She says, "And I'll do my best to figure it out." But she's like, I'm not an actor. I'm not like you. I can't just bullshit. She's like,
Ooh.
Al actually Al smiles and says, "Believe it or not, that might actually be better. If you sound incredibly nervous, it'll make them think that Al is incredibly nervous, maybe tired, maybe losing his grip."
Alicia looks at you and she says, "No, it's not that I'm nervous. I'm just talking to a fucking microphone. I just don't know if I go off script what to say afterwards. I can't just make this shit up. I'm not like you."
I will do my best.
Okie dokie. She's like, "Yeah, I will too." She's like, "Just, if he starts asking me questions about that sort of thing." She's like, "What do I say?"
Well,
Oh no. Oh,
We-
go ahead.
we also have Lee, who might be able to help.
That is true. We could turn to
He
Lee
might
and say,
be better at the improv.
Lee, do you think you would be up for something like that too?
Wow, working with her?
No, I mean, if she's uncomfortable doing it, do you think you'd be more comfortable?
What, pretending to be you?
Al shrugs.
Yeah. He smiles. The first time you've seen him smile in like 3 days. Well, yeah. I think I could be you pretty well.
All right. If it becomes a problem, if he asks you information that you're not sure how to respond,
Yeah.
just say, "I'm sorry, but for everyone's safety, I can't tell you that."
And he nods. Okay.
And then Al would kind of lay down the general, and if you want me to, Inferno, instead of writing it out, basically, we're going to hand him the radio. Then he'll contact him and say, basically, "Perrin, I'm sorry for the deception. This is Al. We are... the coalition could always hunting us. We're being very careful. We needed to get to Parents Post for supplies, but Tom and I couldn't risk going there ourselves. We hired these two to act like us because we've already tried to convince the coalition they are us."
Okay. I'm assuming this is what you're telling Lee. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
putting
yeah.
this through the Lee filter. This is going to be awesome. All right.
And that we are
shit.
we have agreed to take him up on his offer to head east, but we will not be returning. We'll actually be turning south at some point.
Okay. So first, Lee clarifies. Okay, so we are going to go east. Then we're going to come back, and then we're going to go south.
No, we're not coming back.
But then how are we going to do anything with these dragon bones that he wants us to do?
We're not going to do anything with the dragon bones. The point is, because here's the thing. The Coalition needs to know why we're even bothering to tell Perrin this at all. And the reason we're bothering to tell him this is because we're kind of cheating him. We're accepting his job, but we're not going to go through with it, and we feel bad about it, so we're letting him know.
Squee, you forgot about the other day.
What other day?
We were talking about it, and you and I decided that we instead were going to say we're not going to do the whole dragon bones for you. However, we need to drop off these actors east. That's why we're going to east, and then we're heading south.
Okay,
that seems a lot more plausible than. It seems a lot more plausible than, yeah, we'll do it, and then no, we're not going to do it. We're just going to go ahead east and south. It seems shadier that way. You know what I mean?
I'm fine either way. Though they would have to ask, why are we dropping these out? Well, no, yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't see any problem with it.
These guys were just hired to come here. We no longer need them. They need to go back home. So we're going to head east.
So he's going to say, well, where's their home?
New Laszlo? No,
you don't want to toss that heat down on there.
No, you know what? I still think it's a better idea to accept this job under the guise that the Coalition thinks we're accepting this job if they happen to be tracking us.
But as the GM, you don't want to out Perrin either, right?
Yeah, we don't want to out Perrin.
So you can't let him know. You can't, in your conversation, you can't put in any information that Perrin told you secretly.
Yeah.
Right. But the idea was that the whole reason why we're not here ourselves is because we believe the Coalition's everywhere. We don't think they're recording this conversation, obviously, but they might have someone in Perrin's Post or around Perrin's Post. And if we accept an official job to go east and then turn south, like if we accept and make a loud noise about we're going east, everyone, if anyone's listening, will think we're going east, and then we're going to turn south.
Would it be possible, because wasn't Perrin saying there's a bunch of Coalition around? Couldn't Al just be like, I did some of my old like reconnaissance like that I learned back in the day, and I noticed something fishy. We're just not comfortable sticking around here, so we're gonna head out. But if you want to make an official announcement saying we're going someplace else,
we could do that. That I have suspicions there might be Coalitions or Screaming Banshees in the area. And we want to let you know so that you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
And then
don't mention Screaming Banshees.
Why not?
Uh.
I have suspicions that there's Screaming Banshees in the area. We know they're hunting us.
Did Perrin say? Was that one of the things Perrin said?
Perrin said
keep it vague, dude. Keep it vague.
Okay. That we know that there's forces in the area, or we have suspicions that there might be. And the reason why we're accepting Perrin's message and even telling them this in the first place is because if we make a very loud fuss that we're going to go do this for Perrin, they, if anyone's listening, will expect us to head east.
And we could say if Perrin, if you do that for us, we won't cash in, or we'll give you back the credit
money.
Shit.
Oh my god, that's brilliant! Yeah, the credits, because he supposedly gave us credits and never did, and that would match that.
Mm-hmm.
Physically hand him back a credit stick. Like, we need you to do us a favor.
Yeah.
Like, this is the end of our transaction. We have suspicions. These people are actors, and we have been noticing some strange happenings in this area. We need to get out of here. Can you help us? Here's your credits back. We honestly don't really need them. We need the supplies more, and we need to get out of here. we need to head back south because we have more important things to handle. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And we can tell Lee to say that if nothing else, you can say as far as like what forces, it's just a hunch. I'm playing a hunch here. That sounds like Al.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a practice session with Lee, and then we're going to do the scene. All right? So I want you to tell me exactly what you want Lee to say to Dan. Like, I get the general idea, right? But tell Lee what to say in an initial thing, and we'll do a weird role play where you pretend to be Perrin and ask Lee questions, and he'll answer as best he can. And if that seems sufficient to you, then you guys will do the real deal. Make sense? It's almost like you're prepping him for witness testimony. All right? So please, at first, just because you guys have now put like 7 different ideas in the for the sake of Lee, guys, for the sake of Lee, what do you want him to say?
Okay. One of us will hand Perrin a radio, and then ask him to talk into the radio, which will let Lee know Perrin has.
That's going to be me,
right?
All right.
And then when he asks, you respond and you say, "Hi, Perrin, this is Al." And then, of course, Perrin would say something like, "But Al's right in front of me."
Yeah.
And then you say, "No,
they're actors."
Exactly, they're actors. Apologize for the deception.
Okay, I'm so sorry that we had to deceive you. I feel bad. Yeah, I'm you, so yeah, and that's easy enough.
Al grins. But you have a suspicion that there might be coalition activity in the area, so you're playing it safe.
Okay, playing it safe, coalition. All right, got it. All right.
And then you're going to accept the offer to go east.
Yeah, we're going to take your offer to go east.
So that
I want to let you know. I want to let you know that I accept your offer to go east. I have a feeling but's coming though.
But we're going to actually turn south and not come back.
But we're actually going to be going south and we're not coming back. I'm very sorry. All right, got that. And now Lee has an accent for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to stop now. Yeah, okay.
And then after that, it's just going to be responding to whatever questions Perrin might have. And trying to keep the conversation brief because...
but because this is secrecy, this is some serious shit, right? And sometimes, I'm thinking, this is something that you would... tell me if this is something you would say. I'm sorry, Perrin. I can't explain that. It's best that you don't know. I want to keep you safe. Does that sound about right?
Al kind of sighs and says, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
Yeah, all right. I think I got this. And Alicia rolls her eyes and she's like, "I'm still kind of glad it's not me."
How good is Al's self-deprecation? Yeah.
All right. Implication. All right. So,
how about someone else be Perrin?
Oh, do you want to do the? Yeah.
You think
you want to do some practice? You want to do some practice with Leo on what Perrin might ask? What you think Perrin might ask, or do you want to just, or do you feel confident enough that you want to go in? It's up to you,
guys.
We still need to ask Mariah.
Yes, we do. Actually, so let's do that first.
Okay.
Mariah. Would you be willing to give Perrin a telepathic message?
She blinks. Of course.
When we first meet him, we would like to just tell him very simply that we got his message, we're sorry for the trouble, and to please play along.
Very well.
Okay. Thank you.
She blinks.